Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
Goff keeps, floats. Amon-Ra, throwing catch. Now Montgomery, he's going to break. David Montgomery is in for the touchdown.
CBS Sports HQ, where Auburn men's basketball coach Bruce Pearl is stepping down effective immediately. Pearl just completed his 11th season on the Plains, leading Auburn to the second Final Four of his tenure there. He walks away as the winningest coach in Auburn history with 246 career victories, 3 SEC regular season titles, and 2 SEC Conference Tournament championships. Stephen Pearl, Bruce's 38-year-old son, will take over as interim coach with the regular season set to begin November 3rd against Bethune-Cookman.
We go right to Adam Schefter. Adam, what's the latest from the 49ers?
Worst case scenario for Nick Bosa and the 49ers, Laura. Test today a short time ago showed that Nick Bosa did, in fact, tear his ACL during the game against Arizona. He now will need season-ending surgery that will deprive the 49ers of yet another great player.
You've got Freddie Fermin coming to the plate. The deadline acquisition by A.J. Preller from the Royals.
Fermin lines it into left center. It's a walk-off. Johnson's coming from third. And with that, for the 4th time in the last 6 seasons, the San Diego Padres are headed back to the postseason in 2025.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome into another episode of Sports Call. Sports Day. My name is Brant Daughtry, joined by Landon Winkler over in the corner. He's your executive producer running the cameras. Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College, offering exceptional and affordable learning opportunities, supporting student, community, and employee needs. What you just heard was the sounds of the past 24 hours, the biggest news that broke since the last time we were on air. And we're going to run that down for you right now. The Lions beat the Ravens last night on Monday Night Football. The Lions, leading by 7, converted a 4th down pass from Jared Goff to Amon-Ra St. Brown, which then led to a 30-yard touchdown run from David Montgomery. That was a really fun game. The Ravens continue to play really fun games that do not go their way. I think now they've been against 2 of the best teams in the country in the Bills and now the Lions. But the Ravens are 1-2, and I don't think anybody really saw that coming. But an incredible game last night. Football fans everywhere were treated to something pretty fun. Auburn head basketball coach Bruce Pearl, the program's winningest coach of all time, is stepping down after 11 seasons. He retires after winning an SEC regular season championship and leading Auburn to its second ever Final Four appearance. His son Stephen, who has been an assistant since Pearl took over in 2014, will assume head coaching duties. Kind of a shock. I've made it no secret. I'm an Auburn fan. I'm an Auburn person. I'm an Auburn graduate. Bruce Pearl took a program that was a joke on campus and made it into one of the premier destinations in the sport. Auburn basketball has been super fun for the last decade or so. Bruce Pearl came into a program that had absolutely nothing and flipped it all the way on its head. And he's going to be missed. I have a lot of confidence in Stephen. Again, like I said, he's been kind of being groomed for this position for the last 5 or 6 years at the very least. Has been an assistant on Pearl's staff since he came to Auburn, so that'll be an interesting look. And this is not going to be, I will correct CBS Sports headquarters real quick. This is not an interim job for Stephen Pearl. He signed a 5-year contract as the head coach at Auburn, so we'll see how long he can last, but it'll be an interesting transition of power. But Bruce Pearl, absolute legend. He's going to get a statue outside of Neville Arena. He's going to get probably the court named after him. But it'll be very interesting to see where Auburn goes from here. Other sounds of the past 24 hours. Nick Bosa of the 49ers, one of the best defenders in the NFL, has torn his ACL and will miss the rest of the 2025 season. It's the second ACL tear of his career. Went hobbling off against the Cardinals on Sunday and thought that maybe it was still intact and just hurt, but no, it is a complete tear, and he's going to be done for the rest of the year. He'll need season-ending surgery, so that hurts the 49ers. They're already dealing with a ton of injuries, and losing a player like Nick Bosa is never going to help anybody. So It's unfortunate for him, unfortunate for the 49ers. And the last sound of the past 24 hours, the San Diego Padres became the latest team to clinch a postseason berth as they walked off the Milwaukee Brewers in the 11th inning last night. It's their fourth appearance in the last 6 years. The Dodgers currently lead that division, that's the NL West, by 2.5 games. So the Padres become the latest to lock up a playoff spot. Obviously, the Dodgers have. They're ahead in that division, but they have a better record. So the Dodgers have. We saw that the Blue Jays did against the Royals this past weekend. Playoff picture really starting to take shape. And, again, the Royals, they play tonight. They've got to win out and get pretty lucky. We'll let everybody know when they're officially eliminated, which may be as soon as tomorrow. But, one more piece of news. This broke just before the show came on the air today. Mike Gundy, who has been the head coach at Oklahoma State for who knows how long, really put that program on the map after a disastrous start to the year, has been fired. He has been fired by the Oklahoma State Cowboys and will now have to find another job in college football if he wants to, or he can retire. He's been doing this long enough. He's been successful enough. He can absolutely retire if he wants to. But he is done as the head coach at Oklahoma State. So those are your sounds and, I guess, news bites of the past 24 hours. Sports Day is brought to you in part by the Marmy Auto Group out on 10th Street here in Great Bend, and by Sutherland's, helping you build it better since 1917. From quality lumber, plywood, and OSB to cabinets, plumbing, hardware, and power tools, they have everything you need to get the job done. Visit Sutherland's on 10th Street. We've got a great show for you today. We're going to get to our first break. When we come back, I spoke earlier with Wyatt Thompson, the voice of the Kansas State Wildcats, as I do every Tuesday. He gave me his thoughts on the bye week and the Wildcats' upcoming matchup with the Knights of Central Florida. We'll have that conversation for you when we come back after this break. You're listening to Sports Day, live from the Mayo Money Management Studio here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Selling your farm or ranch acres can be stressful. At Red Cedar Land Company, they are extremely diverse in the number of ways they can represent you, and they tailor each project to meet their seller's needs. One of the biggest questions for a seller is, what is my land worth? At Red Cedar Land Company, they offer a free market analysis to help you better understand the value of your land. You deserve a better selling experience. Put your trust in Red Cedar Land Company. Call Cody Crook with Red Cedar Land Company at 620-617-7320.
Marmy Auto Group makes it happen. Central and Western Kansas. Check out our selection of new and pre-owned inventory. Marmy's friendly staff offers top quality service that you've gotten to know over the years. When your existing vehicle needs parts or service, our experienced team will get you back in the game this season. Marmy Chevrolet, GMC, Ford and Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep Ram, parts, service, and body shop. Visit Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street or marmys.net. Marmys, make it happen.
C&E Doors, this is Eddie.
Papa, are you ready to get back to work?
Back to work? But I've been here the whole time.
But I'm back in school. You're gonna have to run the shop without me.
It will be hard without you, but people know that we provide the best service no matter the time of the year.
You could always ask me, Mom, for more help.
Who do you think is really running this place?
Garage door sales, service, and repair at C&E Doors in Great Bend and Hayes.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powelson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Service from people you know, quality products and professional installation. That's Kern Floor Service. Stop by Kern Floor Service and browse through the different selections of flooring from laminate to vinyl, carpet, wood, and ceramic tile. See their selection of area rugs or special order the one that fits your decor, and don't forget, they can spice up those countertops too. So stop by Kern Floor Service today. Kern Floor Service, 908 Coolidge in Great Bend.
Welcome back into Sports Day. Brant Daughtry now joined by the voice of the Kansas State Wildcats, Wyatt Thompson, for our usual Tuesday conversation. Wyatt, thanks so much for taking the time. How are things in Manhattan?
Well, a little bit rainy today, and much-needed rain. And, of course, back into game week after a week where K-State did not play, and trying to get a little bit better. And I think for the most part, I guess I would say looking up a little bit, I guess we'll find out on Saturday.
Well, let's talk about that bye week a little bit. What do you think? You're out there, you're at the facility. What do you think most needed to improve over the bye week?
Well, that's a good question because I think there were a lot of things, but I've been answering that this way over the last week or so. I think it's pretty safe to say, and most people that love the game of football will tell you this, the games are won and or decided at the line of scrimmage, and K-State is giving up a lot of yards. They're not getting a lot of push in the run game, and I think it starts there. I think you can talk about attitude and getting healthy and a rest and a reset and all of those kind of things, too, along with it, Brant, to be real honest. But for me, and I think it kind of was cemented in me yesterday after hearing Coach Kleiman talk to the media during his presser that, they've got to be better in the offensive line. They've got to be better in the defensive front and just play more physical brand of football. I think it's as simple as that.
Coach Kleiman said last week after that press conference that he said that there were some changes that needed to be made after watching this bye week and seeing how Manhattan or how things have shifted at K-State. Do you think that those changes are going to be in personnel, or is that more of an attitude shift?
Well, I think probably more leadership, attitude, effort, those kind of things, as opposed to making wholesale changes. I don't know that that's necessarily even something that, will there be a tweak here and there, or maybe some guy get a few more snaps than he did before? Yeah, that's a possibility. But I think this is more about let's get back to being, what K-State football is known for, being rock solid, playing a clean game, physical, tough, and just battling in the trenches. I think it's certainly that.
When you look at this K-State team, what's one area that doesn't really need to improve that you think has played well enough to win games so far?
That's a really good question, too. I haven't been asked that for a while, and I'd probably, the first thing that jumps to mind for me is probably those two linebackers, Desmond Purnell, the senior from Topeka Hayden, and Austin Romaine. Now, don't misunderstand. They haven't been perfect, and they'd be the first to tell you that. That's why they're leaders on this football team. But I do think that because of their experience and their toughness and knowing what they're doing and all of those things, if you're talking about consistent, I'd probably start there before I'd probably look about anywhere else. I think K-State defensively leans on those guys. Like I say, they know that this team can be better, especially on the defensive side where they sit. But those two guys are really good football players.
Let's look at the matchup that the Wildcats have. UCF, a team that's welcoming in an older and beloved head coach to the program, dealing with a little bit of tragedy, unfortunately, right now, but they're still 3-0 and just took down a North Carolina team that's struggling, but still, they went in there and won the game.
No question. And I think having Scott Frost back in Orlando has made a lot of people pretty happy. He did a really great job there in his first go-around in Orlando. I think he struggled in Lincoln. That would be fair to say. But I think is maybe more comfortable in this environment. I think he is added to their group of players with a lot of transfers. Some of them have been pretty impactful on both sides of the ball. And, yeah, you can say what you want about the competition, but I would propose this. I don't think North Carolina is a great football team by any stretch, but they're an improving one, and they were dominated by UCF last Saturday. Now, North Carolina A&T is not good, but that game against Jackson State, they're probably one of those teams that better football than the name at the moment, if you know what I mean. So I'm saying they've been good, not great, not dominant, but solid. They're getting pretty decent quarterback play. They're running the ball. They're throwing it a little bit. And defensively, you can tell they're running around and trying to be fast and physical and hit people, and it showed.
Well, like you said, good quarterback play so far. Taven Jackson, just under 700 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. When you look at the film on him, when you're doing the tape study, what do you see from him?
you know what? I see a dual threat guy who's playing really confidently. You know, he wasn't the number one guy going into the first game, but injury there forced him into the role. And he didn't look uncomfortable from the very first snap. I've watched all three of their games twice, and I thought he really did a good job coming in under those circumstances. Now, again, they haven't had a lot of pressure, right? They haven't had a lot of stress, but he has been, you know, a guy that looks comfortable doing what he's doing, especially in the pocket. He can run the ball a little bit. He's got some weapons around him. I think he knows all of that. I think he's been pretty well coached. So I'll be honest, I've been impressed with what he's done. Is he going to be named among, you know, the top 7 or 8 quarterbacks in the league, or maybe 10? Probably not, but I think he's done a good job.
This is a UCF front that loves to get after the quarterback. 7 sacks through 3 games so far. How does Kansas State's offensive line keep Avery Johnson clean?
Well, you have to, for me personally, I think to do that, you have to do a couple of different things. You have to get a push in the offensive line and have some semblance of a run game, or they're going to tee off on you. And I think that's as simple as it gets. And you're right. They have a couple of starters back on that defensive front. Both are ends, and Malachi Lawrence and Najee Kelly. They're very active and quick. But I think the thing where I believe they're better than they were a year ago, and they hit the portal to do this, but they've got a Virginia Tech transfer, a Colgate transfer, and an Oklahoma transfer. All of those guys have fit in and kind of rotated through that, you know, two-man, most of the time, two-man linebacking core, and they've been good. They've also pressured quarterbacks. So you go back to what I said before there, you have to be able to have a little bit of a running game and then keep Avery clean when it is more obvious that you may throw on, say, a 3rd and 7. That's one thing that I will mention, too, that Coach Kleiman has worked on the last couple of weeks here. People talk about, you know, they haven't been good on 3rd down. That's true, both sides of the ball. But I think to be better on 3rd down, they also need to be better on 1st down on both sides of the ball, too, and we'll see if it plays out that way this weekend.
There's been enough talk, at least from the national talking heads, that there's a little bit of pressure on Chris Kleiman right now. Nothing that he's not seen before, but it's right now. So how do you think he's handling that pressure?
Well, he's frustrated, mad, disappointed, working his tail off to try to make things better. In the time that I've worked with him, I don't know that I've seen him like he is right now very often. He's very consistent in what he does. I've said that before, that he's won games here. But K-State in his time, they haven't really gone through a stretch quite like this, and it's been bothersome. You know, I think in part because, you know, this fan base really cares about their football team, you know, and nobody, and I mean literally nobody, thought they would be 1-3 at this point. So I think you go back, and they did this after the loss at Arizona. You know, they had some coaching meetings, and then meetings with coaches and players, and then players with, you know, the captains and the, you know, those types of guys, you know, trying to lead and be better there and bring some of those other guys along and make them better. So there's been a lot of things on the table this last week and a half.
You and I spoke for just a couple of seconds before we started this interview, and you and I both agree that this is going to be a very important week, a very telling week for Kansas State football this year. I want to hear it from in your words, though. Why is this going to be such an important game?
Well, I think everybody has a tendency, right or wrong, to look ahead. And people know that K-State is going to play in Waco and in Lawrence and in Salt Lake City and have Texas Tech and TCU at home. Those are really hard games. If you're going to get this thing turned a little bit, this is a game this weekend that you probably need to go get. You got to start somewhere, right? And if you can do that, it gives you at least a chance and a little bit of momentum going into next week as you get ready to go play a good Baylor team in Waco. They're not perfect either, but they're really physical and tough, and those are the kind of teams that have bothered K-State so far. So that's why I think they want to get back to, you know, being a little bit closer to, you know, what they thought they were at the beginning of the year. And it's just simply stated, from that perspective, it's a big-time game. There's no doubt about it. No doubt.
Let's play ideal endings here. If Kansas State does get the win, what does that mean for the program?
Well, I think, again, it gives you confidence moving forward because everybody knows in this league, and Coach mentioned it at his presser yesterday, you better just settle down and expect there to be a lot of one-score type games in this league, whether you're K-State or whoever you might be. I think Coach has been around a long time. You know, he understands that. I think K-State can show some improvement and win a game on Saturday if they do what they're capable of doing. Are they at risk? Sure. But, you know, you have 50,000 here cheering you on. You need to be better really in all phases. And if you do that, I think you give yourself a pretty good chance to win. Go make some plays. Have some fun, too. I think, if I'm being honest, I think the guys have pressed a little bit after the loss with Iowa State. They were really down, you know, after the ball game against Army, and I get it. But at some level, you got to put that behind you and move on and try to right the ship a little bit here.
And I know we're in the dead middle of football season, but yesterday was the beginning of practices for most college basketball teams. You'll be on the call for that one when that rolls around in a little more than a month. So let's talk about Kansas State basketball. Go ahead and preview the team. If someone doesn't know anything about them, what do they need to know?
That's a good way to put it, because I think if you come to an early exhibition game or, you know, one of those early season non-con games, you're probably going to want to have a program. But I'll tell you the truth, I really like what I see so far. There's a lot of energy out there, and it's probably true with every program right now because nobody's gotten beat yet. But I do think Coach really likes this group of guys. I think it is a team that will have an easier time scoring this year than they did last. I think you build around, you know, a couple of things here. You've got, from my perspective, it's nice to have an All-American, right? Not everybody has that. And P.J. Haggerty, the Memphis transfer, is as good as most. He was a 20-point-a-game guy last year, and he can really shoot the ball. Then I think you have that, you know, quote, foreign blood. I think those kids with Rapiak and Andre Kostic and Doreen Buka, those guys are all going to help. And then I'm a big fan so far of a couple of other guys, Abdi Bashir, who's a wing who can really shoot it, and Nate Johnson, who was not only the MAC Player of the Year, but the MAC Defensive Player of the Year last year as a point guard at Akron for the Zips. And so I think this is a team that has some guard depth. I think they'll take better care of the ball than they did a year ago. As I say, maybe a little bit easier to score. And with all of that said, I think they can be a pretty good defensive team. The key's going to be, and Coach mentioned this yesterday, they've got to be a better rebounding team on both ends, but especially on the defensive end, I think, and then take better care of the ball. They were really hampered by that all season last year.
And go ahead and give a broad overview of the Big 12 in college basketball. Obviously, KU, the program that it is, everyone knows. Texas Tech has been really good the past couple of years. Go ahead and give the kind of a general rundown of what you expect from Big 12 basketball.
You know, you started with those two, and I get it. They're both going to be dynamite. But I also think, you know, if you think about an Iowa State team, they'll be in the mix. I really think Houston is going to be terrific. They've got a lot of pieces back from that team from a year ago. Not all, but it's hard when you lose some of the guys like they lost, and yet they've recruited very, very, very well. They got a real big break when Milos Uzan decided to come back. He's one of the best point guards in America. I really think Arizona will be very good also. A little bit more, let's say, questioning what Baylor will be, but if you start counting those teams, Tech, Kansas, Iowa State, Arizona, Houston, there's 5 awfully good basketball teams, right? I mean, that's kind of what you're dealing with.
Wyatt, thanks so much for the time today. Look forward to it every week, and it's another good one this week, man. Thanks for the time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. That's Wyatt Thompson, the voice of the Kansas State Wildcats here on Sports Day. Big thanks to Wyatt. He comes on every Tuesday. Always enjoy talking to him. He's a fantastic time. Super knowledgeable because that's his team. He follows the Kansas State Wildcats and does a darn good job of it. Sports Day is brought to you by Kern Floor Service. Whether you need a new ceramic, porcelain, or natural stone floors, their knowledgeable and friendly flooring experts are here to help you find the perfect floor for your home decor and budget. Visit the Great Bend showroom at 908 Coolidge to see, touch, and feel the latest styles. Also brought to you by Cody Crook of Red Cedar Land Company. Whether you're looking to sell your land or find the right property to buy, Cody takes pride in understanding your goals and making the process as smooth as possible. Call Cody at 620-617-7320 or visit redcedarland.com. All right, we got to take our next break of the show. When we come back, we will welcome in Raphael Simmons, the head coach of Barton Community College Soccer. He and I will have a short conversation, and we'll let you listen to it. You're listening to Sports Day live from the Mayo Money Management Studio right here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Barton Community College has college classes that fit your life and your budget. With 5 flexible start dates, Barton Online is perfect for picking up a class or earning your associate's degree at less than half the cost of a university. Study anytime, from anywhere. Save time, save money. Start strong with Barton Online. Ready to take the next step? Visit online.bartoncccc.edu and enroll today.
It's all here at Great Bend Rec.
Sports, leisure, fitness, and wellness, even senior and adaptive needs. It's all here at the Great Bend Rec. Pick up a program guide or stop by the rec office at 1214 Stone in Great Bend or check out the all-new website, greatbendrec.com. Live, play, explore at the rec.
It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Live, play, explore at the rec.
Needing a healthcare plan for your business? Let the experienced team at Freedom Claims Management Incorporated customize a health insurance plan that fits your needs. Whether you're a large company or a small business on Main Street, FCMI can help you provide employees with great health coverage at an affordable cost. From setup to ongoing support, they handle it all. Schedule your free no-obligation health assessment today at freedomclaimsinc.com. That's Freedom Claims Management Incorporated, with locations in Great Bend, Russell, and Plainville.
Sutherland's is your complete home improvement and hardware store. Tens of thousands of products are in stock at everyday low prices. Sutherland's also offers custom buildings, including post-frame barns, garages, and deck packages too. The friendly and knowledgeable staff at Sutherland's, always ready to help you with any project. From hardware, lumber, cabinets, plywood, and OSB, fencing, power tools, furniture, and more. They simply sell for less. Sutherland's, West 10th, Great Bend, helping America build it better since 1917.
Welcome back into Sports Day. Grant Daughtry now joined by Raphael Simmons, the head coach of Barton Community College Soccer. Coach, thanks for taking the time today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, Coach, let's get right into it. Last time you were on the show, we wanted to kind of preview the team and talk about the early season. So far, your teams are doing pretty well. The men were ranked in the top 10 in the country. Had a bit of a slip-up at Dodge City. Talk about what happened there.
Yeah, it's been a long week for us. We played Garden City on Wednesday, and then we made a trip to Lamar, Colorado on Thursday, played Lamar there, and then I think we just caught up to us a little bit. And we've been on the road, 7 games, 8 games now, because our field is not ready yet. So it's just been catching up to us a little bit. We got another big week coming up, so hopefully we can get back on track again.
The thing that I keep noticing in reading the recaps of what happens in these games, your team scores so incredibly fast. I mean, you want to put up goals in the first 2 to 3 minutes if you can. So is that a mentality thing, or is that just execution? Is that something you're trying to do, or is it just working out for you?
Yeah, I think we have a really good group of guys where they come out motivated, and it's kind of a little bit of a double-edged sword, because a couple games where we came out and we scored really early, we took the foot off the gas and allowed the other team to get back into the game, and then sometimes that momentum never flips back towards our side. And I think that happened with Dodge City a little bit. We scored early, took our foot off the gas, they scored, and then the momentum in that first half stayed with them. But if we do our job right and we score first, hopefully we can take care of business and keep it going after that.
The name I keep seeing, and feel free to talk about any players you want to, but the name I keep seeing for your men's team is Masaki Tsuji, a guy who has scored, I think in the 5 games you've played, I think he scored a hat trick and 2 braces.
Yeah, so he has 7 goals total. Yeah, I think he's either had a goal and assist or more in each of the games we played. I think people are starting to realize he's our danger guy and put in extra defenders over there on his side or to mark him. But he's having a really good season. We had a kid on Thursday that scored 4 goals, which is second for the single game record as well. His name is Angel. And both of them are freshmen, which is a nice thing for us, is that hopefully they can keep going, and obviously the future looks bright as well.
Well, that's the thing for a junior college, right, is you get these kids for ideally only 2 years.
Yeah.
And for the fact that you have to keep recycling and the fact that you can have a guy contribute in his first year and go, okay, we're going to get this guy back again, that's got to make it easier for you just from a program building standpoint.
Yeah, it's exciting too. I think we actually have a big group of freshmen, and a lot of them contributing a lot now. So that's nice as well. But obviously, I think the sophomores and the leadership that they have is the one thing that usually gets us over the line. I think every year we have good talent. It's just the mentality within the team, and the sophomores are the ones that set the tone. So they're doing a good job as well.
Let's talk about your women's team as well. Lost their first 2 matches, but since then have outscored opponents 13-3.
Yeah.
That is a heck of a run.
Yeah, I think the girls were very unfortunate with their first conference loss against Seward. Similar to what the boys did against Dodge City a couple of days ago, is a little bit slow off the mark, and Seward went up early 2-0 on us. We managed to get back into the game 2-2, and then gave up a goal in the last couple of minutes to lose. And then the second loss, Butler away, is always a tough game. Butler is usually ranked in the top 20. But we responded really well. We beat Garden City, who were number 20 in the country, on Wednesday, 5-2, which was a big score. And then the girls also went out to Lamar, had a big score there, and then it was a really good game against Dodge City. It looked like we're in control basically the whole game, didn't give up a lot of chances. So proud of them, and hopefully they can keep the run going, because they have Cowley tomorrow, which is, I want to say, maybe number 7 in the country, so that will be a tough game for them. And then Coffeyville here at home on Saturday.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on that Cowley team, highly ranked on both the men and women, I believe.
Yep.
So what have you seen from them so far? And obviously don't give away the farm here, but what's the game plan?
No, both of them are very good. The men's team, obviously, they lost the national championship game last year in penalty kicks. So they're probably a little bit playing with a chip on their shoulder, trying to go the next one now. They're very technical and very attacking minded. So for us, it's trying to defend well, eliminate chances, and then obviously when we get ours, hopefully put something away. The women's team is a little bit complicated because they don't have actually a lot of players, which sometimes is a hard thing and sometimes a good thing. So they don't rotate as much. So they'll keep their big players in most of the games, most of the time. So for us, I think is a thing about bringing the intensity and try and tire them out, and hopefully we can get a result as well there.
How's your depth so far this year?
It's good. So on our boys' side, we have about 35 players, and on the girls' side, we have about 24, 25. So, and I think both teams have a good amount of players that can come off the bench and make an impact. So that's nice to have. A difficult decision to make, so but nice to have.
A good problem to have.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit more. Gosh, I had an idea for a question. It was a really good one too. Oh, your girls, they got their first shutout against Dodge City. They won 3-0. Talk about the intensity that your girls have shown so far this year, and how much it means to get a shutout like that.
Yeah, we've actually rotated, again, with a little bit of depth we've rotated quite a bit in defense and goalkeeper. We have 3 different goalkeepers, and we've played all of them a little bit throughout the season to try and figure out who's really going to be our number one, and the same thing with our defenders. I think in the last couple of games we found a group that wanted to compete a little bit harder, and they found some success too. So I think for us now is trying to build on that and improve their confidence and improve their defensive capabilities. And I think, again, if we can defend well against Cali, I think we can put up a good result.
Your goalkeeper, whose name I'm not going to try and pronounce, just because I've tried a couple and I don't want to make anybody upset, but recently named goalkeeper of the week in Kansas Junior College. So talk about him. Tell me how to actually pronounce his name, and then talk about the job he's been doing.
Gabriel Bergamin.
Bergamin, okay.
Yes, so he is funny, and I told our SIDs, Todd and Brendan, that we had our other goalkeeper, Pedro, was a goalkeeper of the week a week ago. Gabriel was this week. And then we have a third goalkeeper that got a shutout in Lamar this week. And I was like, if he can get goalkeeper of the week, we'll have 3 different goalkeepers for 3 weeks straight. So I think the boys are the same thing. We actually have 4. One of them is hurt at the moment. But we have 3 goalkeepers that any game can show up and start, and probably start in any team in the conference too, and do well. So we're very lucky in that position for the boys and the girls. So hopefully they'll keep stuff together and show up for the big games.
What has been, you've seen your teams for 5 games now for each of them. What's been the biggest surprise to you so far?
Our ability to score goals, probably. Last year, I think we struggled a little bit to score goals, both sides, men's and women's. And this year, we're putting up good numbers. Hopefully, they won't go dry here towards the second half of the season. But I think that's what's been surprising to me, is that we can score goals. And I think the boys scored, apart from one game, they scored in every other game. And the girls, I think, is the same. Apart from one game, they scored in every other game. So I think they can do a job. And that's always helps us. If we can score goals, we're always within a game. So.
Yeah, and that's something that, I don't know much about the game, but I listen to people who know about the game.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that everyone always says is goals change the complexion of the game. When you can score, when you can get on the board, especially as fast as your teams do, that just changes the game state, right?
Yeah,
that's the term that people use, is game state. And I feel like right now your team's ability to put up numbers is really helping.
Yeah, no, and this is what I tell them at the start of the year too, is that I think there's obviously the saying that defense wins championships, but for us, obviously in soccer, there could be ties. So for me, is scoring goals wins game, and winning game is what is going to win us championships. And so they bought into it. They've been really dynamic in attacking positions and goal scoring situations. So again, hopefully that can keep going, and I think we always have a chance if we can score goals.
Coach, thanks for taking the time to come in today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
That's Rafael Simmons, head coach of Barton Community College Soccer, joining us here on Sports Day. Big thanks to Coach Simmons. He is a lot of fun to talk to. You can see it on the video, I'm sure. It doesn't really come across in his voice, I don't think. That dude always smiles. He has the biggest smile on his face all the time. It makes for a great environment to talk to somebody. He's a whole lot of fun. Sports Day today is brought to you in part by Equity Bank. There when you need them. Bank local, save big with in-person banking and business banking. Visit equitybank.com for more information. Equity Bank in Great Bend, Hoisington, and Larned. Also brought to you by C&E Doors, your full-service garage door company. Follow the orange signs south of 10th and Harrison. All right, we got to get to another break. And this is just a day chock full of interviews. When we come back, I spoke earlier today with Zach Baird, the head coach of the Hoisington Cardinals. His team, 2-0. Should they be 3-0? Should they be 2-1? Interesting conversation. He and I talked a little bit about that, and just about the weirdness that happened on Friday out in Hoisington. So we'll also preview their upcoming game with Southwestern Heights. It was a lot of fun. Always love talking to Zach. You'll get to hear that conversation in just a little bit. You're listening to Sports Day live from the Mayo Money Management Studio here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Service from people you know, quality products and professional installation. That's Kern Floor Service. Stop by Kern Floor Service and browse through the different selections of flooring from laminate to vinyl, carpet, wood, and ceramic tile. See their selection of area rugs or special order the one that fits your decor, and don't forget, they can spice up those countertops too. So stop by Kern Floor Service today. Kern Floor Service, 908 Coolidge in Great Bend.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powelson, president of Your Local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
C&E Doors, this is Eddie.
Papa, are you ready to get back to work?
Back to work? But I've been here the whole time.
But I'm back in school. You're gonna have to run the shop without me.
It will be hard without you, but people know that we provide the best service no matter the time of the year.
You could always ask me, Mom, for more help.
Who do you think is really running this place?
Garage door sales, service, and repair at C&E Doors in Great Bend and Hayes.
Central and Western Kansas residents, are you looking for a new vehicle? Marmy Auto Group can make it happen. Marmy Auto Group includes Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep and Ram, Chevrolet, and GMC. Marmy Auto Group, your Central and Western Kansas dealer, has new and pre-owned vehicles, or we can special order your vehicle today. If your existing vehicle needs serviced, Marmy's award-winning service department can help. Come to Marmy Auto Group on 10th or marmys.net. Marmys make it happen.
Selling your farm or ranch acres can be stressful. At Red Cedar Land Company, they are extremely diverse in the number of ways they can represent you, and they tailor each project to meet their seller's needs. One of the biggest questions for a seller is, what is my land worth? At Red Cedar Land Company, they offer a free market analysis to help you better understand the value of your land. You deserve a better selling experience. Put your trust in Red Cedar Land Company. Call Cody Crook with Red Cedar Land Company at 620-617-7320.
Welcome back in. Brant Daughtry now joined by Zach Baird and Taylor Morales, 2 members of the Hoisington Cardinal football program's head coach Zach Baird. Coach, a bit of a weird result for you guys Friday. Played about a quarter and a half. Lightning came in, had to delay. Decided to delay the game until Saturday. And then later Friday night just decided to go ahead and call things with district coming up. First of all, a shame that game couldn't finish because it looked like it was gearing up to be a heck of a football game.
Yeah, I mean, Scott City's always a tough opponent, and that's what it was. And just kind of made a decision with Scott and talked to those guys, and we just thought it was probably in both teams' best interest. Trying to get ready to go on Friday night's one thing, and then playing a little bit over a quarter, and then stop and coming back Saturday morning. I think we were going to try to kick off around 1. Just thought it was in everybody's best interest to just go ahead and cancel it. I know we got a bunch of guys banged up and dealing with some soft tissue stuff. So for us, it was kind of a no-brainer. We found out it could go down as a no contest, and that was the final straw. Once we found that out, we thought it made a ton of sense for us.
How is the healthier team? Like you said, not quite an off week, but you get what's basically an extended scrimmage, but you still don't have to play the full 4 quarters. How much does that help your team?
Yeah, I think it helps. I mean, we're like anybody else. Everybody's beat up a little bit. Tay plays the B and outside linebacker for us, so both sides of the ball, it's tough. It's a physical position, and obviously we know how important Tay is to us. So when we could make that decision and say, hey, we got out fairly healthy Friday the way it was, with those soft tissue injuries, trying to come back again on Saturday, short turnaround, that was worrisome. And, so I like where we're at. Carson Mason's got a back issue he's dealing with. Coulter Hahn's got a back issue he's dealing with. Hoff's got some shoulder things. So we're a little beat up. I mean, we start off with 3 really good opponents, and all 3 teams are physical, and that's just part of it.
Taylor, let's get you in here, man. Taylor Morales, fullback, B-back, y'all call it? B-back. All right. So, Taylor, get up on that mic, man. You have been kind of the surprise story for Hoisington this year. In the 2 full games that we've seen, over 150 yards, I think 4 touchdowns, maybe 5 so far in the season total. You're just kind of everywhere, man, running dive plays, trap plays. You're all over the field, man. How's it going for you right now?
It's going good. Just like Coach Baird said, have some issues going on with our leg, and we're just hoping to get that fixed pretty soon so we can get back into full force.
Yeah, notice that you're not handling kickoff duties or kicking or punting right now. Is that was something that you were obviously extremely talented in. We've seen you do it before at a high level, but right now just focusing on carrying the ball.
Yeah, pretty much. Kicking really hurts more than running does, so we're really trying to get off kicking for a little bit just so we can get it healed and then get back to it, hopefully.
Talk a little bit about your offensive line. We spoke to Leighton Hoffman, I think, last week, and the guys that are blocking for you right now are doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah, they're doing real good. I mean, they enjoy being out there and being able to run through people, especially Hoff. Leighton really likes getting after him, and when he does get after him, it doesn't stop all game. It keeps going no matter what.
So right now you guys have played 3 games against 3 super physical teams and teams that are really good at stopping the run, teams that take pride in their front 7, and you've been able to put over 300 yards on the ground against 1 or 2. I think 1 or 2 of those opponents so far. So right now the running game is just really getting it going. Do you think that there's more of that coming up in the future?
Oh, I bet there is more. I think once we get completely healed, we'll be able to run even harder and keep it going, but I bet we throw some passing in there pretty soon too. Make sure that we're not just one side of the ball running, and that we can do more than just run the ball on different defenses.
Well, that was my next question is, you've got Mason Martin, this kid that Coach Barrett's talked him up all offseason, and he's made some pretty good throws so far, but so far that's not been the focal point of the offense. When do you think that's coming?
I think we're going to start throwing this week. We're going to start putting in a lot more throws this week, and then we'll keep it going throughout the season just to be able to split our offense up so it's not as easy to prepare for.
Let's talk about this upcoming week. You got Southwestern Heights coming in, a program that has struggled a little bit, but you still got to stay focused, still got to go out there and do the job.
Yeah, we definitely do still need to stay focused. We shouldn't let this team not being the best determine how we practice, so I think we need to get a lot better at practice this week, even though it's going to be less physical. We need to start working harder and then still play how we know we can Friday.
All right, Coach Baird, let's get you back in here. Let's talk about those Broncos a little bit. They do have a win on the year. They beat Syracuse earlier, I believe. I think that win came this week, but otherwise a team that has struggled, and last year a team you guys dominated.
Yeah, and with high school teams, you always graduate classes, and so from one year to the next, groups can be totally different. Just look at ours last year and ours this year. And they're extremely young, so like we told the guys, when you have young teams, the one thing you count on is young teams get better each week. So I'm trying to stress to them that, what you might see on film, they're going to be better than that come Friday. That's just something every young team does. They continue to get better, and they've got some good young pieces, good players. Just struggling to put it all together, but just like us, I'm sure they're working throughout the week and trying to continually get better.
You're playing a lot of older guys right now, the names people know, like Tay, like Coulter Hahn, like Leighton Hoffman. Who are some of the younger guys right now that are stepping up for you?
Yeah, I think some of the guys that are kind of just coming on the scene a little bit are guys that probably started the year JV that are kind of getting into rotation players. Drew Heckley is one that's going to start playing more and more. He's doing a really good job in practice and like what we see. Corbin Allende is one that played last year, but he's made so much improvements physically and mentality-wise. So that's a big one for us. Let me think. Caden Chambers played last year as a sophomore, and that's the thing with these guys is they've all played since they were young. Last year, some of the young guys that were playing, we didn't anticipate them playing quite that year early in the season, but because guys got banged up, they had to get thrown into the fire a little bit earlier than we expected. But, I think Tay's been playing since he's a freshman. I think he made a big play for us in the playoffs against Russell his freshman year. So we've got good players, and they've got a bunch of experience, and that makes it so much easier to hit the ground running early in the season. I think that's one of the big things is, we're playing with an older group right now, and these guys have been in big games. They've played in state championship games, and they've played in hostile environments, and there's not really anything we can throw at them that they haven't experienced. And I think Tay touched on earlier. The big thing for us is we've got to practice better. We've been sloppy in practice, and then you look in games. We start off sloppy at Heston. We're not really ready to go against Scott City, and I think once we settled in and got going, made a few adjustments defensively, I liked where we were. But it starts in, we can't just flip a switch on Fridays. And, so hopefully our seniors step up and make sure we have a better week of practice.
Looking at your team so far this year, not a lot of weaknesses. If there is one, you've watched the film, I have just watched the games. It seems to me that the outside run has kind of been the Achilles heel right now. Things like sweeps and outside zone. What do you think's causing that, and how do you correct it?
Well, it's, we've got good players on the perimeter. Like if you'd asked me before the year started where I thought our strength was defensively, I'd have told you we have really fast DNs that are good players, and we have 2 outside backers that are really good players that can run. And that hasn't changed. We're trying to tinker with the scheme a little bit, and anytime you do that and you throw something new, it slows you down just a little bit, and we don't want guys thinking out there. We want guys just reacting and playing fast. So that's kind of slowed us down a little bit, and I think that's probably part of it. But also, give some of these guys credit, too. Scott City, the Cashman kid, is an excellent football player, and he didn't really hurt us running the ball per se, but when they got to the perimeter, he was out in front blocking it, and he's a phenomenal player. That made it tough. And then Heston did some stuff, where they were able to reach our 9 and got to our secondary with the Wilson kid, who's a really good back. So we're seeing quality opponents, and it's little things that our technique's got to be better, and then we just got to be more comfortable in our scheme so we can play fast.
You're about to hit the halfway point in the season. What's been the biggest surprise for your team so far, and what has the expectation changed at all since you first kicked off?
No, I mean, the goal going into the season was win a state championship, and that hasn't changed. Maybe a pleasant surprise has been how well our offensive line has played. We got 2 juniors that are starting for the first time with Carson Kimmon and Leighton Mooney, and I thought both of those guys have played extremely well. There's been games where we kind of leaned on them and ran it more behind them than we did the other side. And, I think that's been a big bonus for us. I think Marty, his level of play at the quarterback for this time of year, being a first-time starter on Fridays, is a little surprising just because, we know how athletic he is, and he's just competitive by nature, but the ability to do the little things right, make the right read, is pretty impressive. So offensive standpoint, I think O-line and QB play has probably been better than what I thought it would be at this point in the year. But, we know we have good backs. We've got good skill players. We knew once we got the ball to them in space, they would make plays. So I just think that our ability to go north and south on people, and we talked to our group about that, like, hey, if we can average 4 yards on zone dive with this group, we've got Tay who can run. We got CJ who can run. Fonz who can run. We got guys who we can get the ball to in space that can move. But it was, do we have the ability to go north and south? And so far we've done a really good job with that. And I think that makes us tough offensively.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I was about to let that be the last question. Brody Fonnon still carrying the ball is one of the funniest things I've ever seen on a football field. Not because he's bad at it. He's really good. But he just doesn't have the kind of running back body that you typically see. He's, 6'2", 230, and not the fastest guy, just kind of rumbling over folks right now. What are the ways that you plan to use him this year that maybe we haven't seen yet?
Well, Fonz he's actually a little bit taller than that even. He's just right at 6'4", just a shade under. But he is twitchy, and he is really fast for a big guy. I don't know when the last time Fonz played running back. Maybe when he was in middle school, I think he told me. But like he does a great job. It's little things like our footwork at the B-back that these guys just take for granted because they've done it so long, and they could do it in their sleep. For him, it's new. And so once he starts to continue to get those things down pat and it becomes a habit, not something he has to think about, he's going to do nothing but get better and better. And if we can get that big guy in space and get him into other people's secondary, like, he'll be a nightmare. So it's just another weapon.
It's funny you say that. I'm remembering the trap that he took for a touchdown against Heston. It looked like he had been doing it for forever.
Yeah, he hit that thing humming. And when you get a 220-pound kid like that who is just flying at you, it's a good sight for us. It's probably not such a good sight for other teams' secondary. So he's going to continually just each week we're going to put a little something more on his plate. And, he's had a great attitude. He knows it's tough. All these little things were thrown at him that these guys could do in their sleep, like, it's still new to him. And, he's working hard at it and trying to get up to speed as fast as he possibly can.
Coach, thanks for taking the time. Enjoy talking to you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, man.
Yep, that's head coach Zach Baird and Talon Morales joining us here on Sports Day.
Sutherland's is your complete home improvement and hardware store. Tens of thousands of products are in stock at everyday low prices. Sutherland's also offers custom buildings, including post-frame barns, garages, and deck packages too. The friendly and knowledgeable staff at Sutherland's, always ready to help you with any project. From hardware, lumber, cabinets, plywood, and OSB, fencing, power tools, furniture, and more. They simply sell for less. Sutherland's, West 10th, Great Bend, helping America build it better since 1917.
Needing a healthcare plan for your business? Let the experienced team at Freedom Claims Management Incorporated customize a health insurance plan that fits your needs. Whether you're a large company or a small business on Main Street, FCMI can help you provide employees with great health coverage at an affordable cost. From setup to ongoing support, they handle it all. Schedule your free no-obligation health assessment today at freedomclaimsinc.com. That's Freedom Claims Management Incorporated, with locations in Great Bend, Russell, and Plainville.
It's all here at Great Bend Rec.
Sports, leisure, fitness, and wellness, even senior and adaptive needs. It's all here at the Great Bend Rec. Pick up a program guide or stop by the rec office at 1214 Stone in Great Bend, or check out the all-new website, greatbendrec.com. Live, play, explore at the rec.
It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Live, play, explore at the rec.
Get on the fast track to earn your national certification with Barton Community College's new Medical Lab Assistant program. In less than 1 year, you'll gain hands-on training to work in medical labs, clinics, and hospitals, delivering critical patient care. With flexible learning, including 100% online courses and lab hours at your local hospital, you can grow your career or start fresh. Healthcare needs skilled professionals like you. Enroll now at mla.bartonccc.edu.
Welcome back into Sports Day. Final couple of minutes here on the show today. Big thanks to the folks who have joined. A big thanks to you for watching. Big thanks to Landon Winkler for running cameras. Big thanks to Wyatt Thompson, Raphael Simmons, and Zach Baird, those who have joined me on today's show. Tomorrow we're going to have, this is not finalized yet, still waiting on somebody. Stay tuned. But tomorrow we will have Steve Webster. He and I are going to have a really fun segment. I'm looking forward to tomorrow in a big way. Also going to talk to Cole Reif of Kansas Sports Chatter, former member of this very station. He and I are going to discuss whatever comes up. You know, he's following everything, so we'll talk a little bit of football. Want to go ahead and read this off. Sports Day today brought to you in part by the Great Bend Rec, providing quality leisure, cultural, sports, fitness, and educational programs to improve the quality of the community and the individual lives of the community members. And by Freedom Claims Management. Let the experienced and dedicated staff at Freedom Claims Management, Inc. customize a health insurance plan that fits your business's needs. That's just about going to wrap us up. Oh, astute viewers will realize that I'm wearing a new set of headphones today. I didn't bring these in. I didn't put them in here. I don't know where these came from. Probably some other studio, and someone's going to get mad at me for wearing them. But I think I've complained about this other headset for a little while now. I'm showing them to the camera now. This thing is just broken. I don't know how it broke. I don't know when it broke. But sometime between yesterday's show and today when I got in, this set of headphones just broke. And I got to say, I'm not exactly heartbroken about it because I didn't like these things. These are so much better. This is just a better experience for everybody. Oh, gosh. Now this thing's starting to fall out. All right, I got to get out of here before something bad happens. Oh, my goodness. All right. Thanks for listening to Sports Day. We're back tomorrow with another show. Hopefully we can land the plane a little bit smoother than this. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks to Landon Winkler for being the executive producer. I'm Brant Daughtry. We'll see you all again tomorrow.